The last couple of weeks, there's been a big run, especially on toilet paper. And why is that? Why are people so gung ho on buying toilet paper? We've seen a lot of toilet paper shelves that look like this, and it's obvious people are just hoarding. I mean, why would anybody need this much toilet paper, right? Why? Why would they want to buy that much? What's going on? What are they thinking? I mean, grocery stores and all the stores uh, talk about selling about 8 months worth of toilet paper in 1 week. So what's going on here? And there's actually an explanation for this, a mathematical explanation. It's actually a thing called game theory, and I'll get into a little bit. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about um, bubble theory, which is very closely related but different. But this is going to we're talk about game theory here in a few minutes. Well, let's talk a little bit about bubble theory. Bubble theory, basically what you're saying is I'm going to buy something thinking it's going to go up in value, right? So think of the real estate bubble about 10 years ago. Stock market, perfect example. You buy a stock thinking it's going to go up in price. Precious metal, oil. One time oil was 140 bucks a barrel, right? Now it's down to what, about 30? So this is just speculation, thinking that the price is going to go up. It's different in game theory. Well, in game theory, think about this, right? Where in bubble theory, there's really not a shortage or a limited supply. Uh, but in game theory, there is. Think of a Monopoly game. If you want to win a Monopoly, the key is getting as much property as you can. And there's limited supply. Once you get that, and everybody's got hotels and motels and whatever, houses on it, uh, you're done. There's only so much property. So theory of game is you want to acquire as much property as possible in the game. Okay. So if you perceive or if there's real limited supply, then your best chance is to get as much as possible. Start hoarding. An example would be like Bitcoin, right? The guy that came up with this said, well, I'm only going to make so many coins, right? So all of a sudden, there was a limited supply of Bitcoins. You wanted it, you had to get it fast. So there was a rush on it. I think it got up to what, 12, 13, 14,000 bucks. It's about half that now, I think. But there's a limited supply or perceived limited supply, so people rush on it, right? See, the difference in bubble theory is that there wasn't a limited supply. In Bitcoin, it did have one. So when people perceive that there's going to be a limited supply, they go for it. They go for it big time. So what happens in game theory? Well, you're trying to acquire as much as possible, right? And people literally start to panic, right? So they'll go out and buy as much toilet paper as possible, not just toilet paper, milk, um, chicken, meat, whatever, frozen foods, things they've never eaten before, right? As if all of a sudden the cows are going to stop producing milk, or the factories that make toilet paper are going to quit. Uh, one of a woman, one of my neighbors, goes to Costco once every month. It's about 70 miles away, and she literally buys about 2 or 3 cases, these big cases. Well, she just got back from there, right? And she has all these cases of toilet paper, enough for probably about a year's worth of supply or whatever. Well, she's got to worried about. She had the perception that toilet paper was going to be in short supply during the pandemic. She went to every store in town looking for toilet paper, and she got there too late. There was no toilet paper. You would have thought her puppy just died. She was panicking. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? But this is game theory. It goes back to Monopoly. If you don't get all the property, you're going to lose. And if you think that something like toilet paper is going to run out, you better get a bunch of it, all right? Otherwise, you're going to lose. You're going to not have toilet paper, which is a thought I can't imagine what it'd be like without toilet paper. At one time in history they did it, but not nowadays. That's game theory. It's not speculative. It's just a belief that there's a limited supply and I got to get as much as I can, which leads to hoarding.